Alright guys, how's it going? Peppery here, welcome back to more Tekken tutorials. Now, today in the in-depth series we're gonna talk about martial law's top 10 moves. Now, I'm no god with martial law, I'm definitely the best law out there, but I can definitely say he's my main character in Tekken, so, you know, I can say I know a few things about him, and I've, narrowed down some of his moves to a list of his top 10 moves. Now, Law has a really good set of moves in my opinion, but one of the things that is, in my opinion, what makes him not like a crazy pick for top players is that he's not, he doesn't have anything that's amazingly cheap that just stands out. To some players it stands out that Law is really safe and that, makes him really cheap, but in my opinion getting really high ranked with Law in the competitive scene is difficult because Law at heart seems a very seems like a very face level kind of character, but he does have some depth to him, and that playing him to a high level is difficult, but it is definitely something special to see. Like players like the Game or Rip or Just Frame James, they really do put a lot of work into Law. Even though he is one of the least execution heavy characters in the game outside of DSS. Alright, so let's get started with Law's top 10 moves. Alright, so for the first, I have to talk about his pokes. And obviously, Law is a poking kind of character, and his pokes are probably his best set of moves. So, one of his best pokes, in my opinion, is back 2. Back 2 is 16 frames, does 18 regular hit, or is it 16, regardless. And it leads into Junkyard, which is back 2, 3, 4, or back 2, 2. Back 2, 2 natural combo, and is a little bit hit confirmable. Pseudo hit confirmable, not entirely though. Well, what I mean pseudo hit confirmable, I didn't mean it was completely hit confirmable. Either way, back 2-2, safe poke, only like -8 or -9, does have far-reaching range, has a slight high crush in the beginning. It's one of Law's best pokes. It's very safe, very good for testing your range. Moves Law forward, and his arm goes all the way out. I also believe this counts as an back elbow, so it cannot be parried, although I'm not entirely sure about that, since it's not exactly a straight line punch like this or that. So back 2, very good. Really great for footsie tool, knowing your range, moving a lot closer safely without even, messing things up. Also has good tracking to both of his sides, unlike some of Law's moves. So it's definitely a really safe tool to use. She uses it a lot. Be careful about using extensions, back 2, 3, 4. A sharp player will parry this move a lot, and you'll eat a low parry combo for that. Although, if you do manage to counter hit by delaying it, or just doing back 2 so much they don't expect Junkyard, you can get Junkyard and, Junkyard on counter hit, at least the second hit. As we all know, leads into a combo. Whatever, what have you. So, and then back 2-2, if you can, you're gonna hit, that 2-2 is really good, 30 damage. It's also a 16 frame range punisher, so this thing guaranteed punishes Death Fist, and I do believe Wall Standing 2 and Blazing Kick. It does not punish Akuma or Heihachi's forward 4-2, unfortunately, but anything that puts you really far back, but it's punishable, just try back 2-2, and it'll usually hit, since this can even punish Death Fist. Thing is, back 2-2, a sharp player, as soon as they back 2, they'll automatically start ducking, and since the second hit is a high, they can duck the last hit, which could be bad for you. Also, the last hit is de-accessible, but it's nothing like crazy on frames or anything like that. You don't really want to do it unless you got some kind of creative setup with it. Moving on, we've got Law's 1-2 series. Now, with Yoshimitsu, I said that his 2-2 is really good in his extensions. Law's 1-2 series is really, really good, because he has probably the most extensions out of 1-2 than any other character in the game. By this, I mean, he has standard 1-2, which is 19 damage, but then he has 1-1-2, which is his standard 10 frame punisher, 25 damage. It's just like one extra jab added to a 1-2, which is pretty good. And then from that, you can go into 4-2-2 string, Ray 4 combo, and on counter hit, the second hit hits counter hit, the rest is guaranteed. Unfortunately, not the whole thing. And then from that, you can even go like 4-2-2 and then 1+2 for wall splat. You can delay this heavily. And if you delay it enough, can get wall combo. Or a knockdown if you're not on the wall, etc. This is negative 13 though, so just be alert to that. But we're not talking about that move, we're talking about 1-2 in general. So 1-2, even 1-2 itself can just go into it, since you can do 1 jab and then automatically transition to 2 transition by pressing 2. So, you know, you can do 1-2-2, which I don't think that's a good move though. You can do 1-2-3, which is all, if on counter hit, it's all guaranteed. And knocks down, also wall splats. Wait, what? There we go. I don't know what that was all about before. Safe move as well, 1-2-3. All the transitions from 1-2 are safe. You just have to know that they are duckable if you can't, because they're all high except for the 4-2-2 series. So you just have to be careful about that. You can, you know, fake them out, just go 1-1-1, then down 2. I mean, then 4-2-2, hit him with the mid. Or, you know, after you beat your 1-2 punish, you just keep going, and then, you know, like, if you're doing 1-2 and it's blocked, keep going into, you know, extensions, so, you know, in case they had something planned, you screw them over. Their game plan over, that is. He even has the fake flip, which is like 1-2, any kind of a 1-2, then a 4-3, and then you go into instant slide versus wall standing 2, instant slide versus fake flip 4 mix-up. So, 1-1-2, that, or that, Tetra. Or, you know, boom. You know, it gets tricky. It's pretty tricky. So, that's his 1-2 series. Just really great jabs in general. Law has really great jabs. His one jab has really great range, so Law's jabs, I would consider them part of his top 10 moves. He definitely has better jabs than most characters like Lei or whatever. And you could even DSS them, although like most of his punch DSSs, he doesn't really have any plus frame. But you do need to do a 2 in order to DSS it. You can't just use the 1. Using 1 by itself is not that good. You want to mix it in with 2 stuff, like, and then, you know, like that. Oops. And then stuff like that, or the 1-1-1-1, then boom, 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 you know, something like that. That's his 1-2 series for you. Just Law in general has really great jabs, which adds to his archetype as a Pokken counter character. Moving on, we have the one and only, one of Law's most signature moves, the flip kick. Copyright Martial Law 2013, don't take that Lee Chaolan and Anna Williams. Or Maxi from Soul Calibur. Anyways, flip kick, done by up forward 4, or up 4, up back 4, full crouch up forward 4 without holding it. And full crouch up 4, and full crouch up back 4. Flip kick is a really great footsie tool. It has a really long range, like a hidden range. Has a low crush, slight high crush, not really reliable. His whole body becomes a hitbox, so pretty much you hit him anywhere, it'll launch them. It's taggable. And just in general, it's really good. It is launch punishable, but look what happens on block. Oops. It has like a weird knockback, and it leaves Law in full crouch, so you can't launch him with a down forward 2. And most hop kicks will actually not reach Law, especially if he does this little up back 4. I mean, like an up 4. Which is the knockback on that is even greater. So it's general very safe. There are a few characters that can punish it because they have a far-reaching launcher. And they don't even need a far-reaching launcher, they can just punish it with their negative 14 frame punisher, which will do enough damage anyways. But either way, flip kick is still really good. It's got a lot of range, and it's very safe. Usually very safe anyways. There are certain characters that can punish it, you have to be aware. But, you know, this is a really great footsie tool, because, you know, once you're in flip kick range, you could try to scare them, like going in their face, and then do a flip kick. It's kind of fast. It's just like his 18 frame punisher, I think. So it's in general, it's just really good, safe launcher tool. It's kind of like a better down forward 2, although it is a bit slower than down forward 2. And since it's a jumping move, you can get floated technically, which either may save you or hinder you, because it depends on if they can convert off the flow combo or not. At the same time, because he's jumping, it makes you immune to grabs and lows, etc, etc. Double flip kicks, very situational. Don't throw them out too much. You might only want to throw them out when you're raw tag punishing, or you do a sidestep, or, you know, guarantee that you're gonna hit them. Doing it like this is in the open is very risky. If you hit it, great, but you know, it's kind of a linear move. It's kind of like, you know, the kind of move that you want to use Situationally, you don't want to throw it out when, you know, they have a chance of blocking you. Throw it out when, throw flip kick it out when you think they're gonna press buttons or you think they're gonna duck, you know, etc. It's just a really good footsie tool in general, you know, it's a true testament to your footsie abilities. Alright, that's flip kick for you, really good. Also known as somersault, I guess, by the actual in-game translation. The combo for Law Solo is like, while standing for, oops. At least this is my combo. It's pretty standard Law combo. Does a little bit more damage than his down forward 2, although if you just tag us off this, you'll do a lot of damage anyways. You can also do something fancy like that. Like, for flip kick DSS, the up ones, oops, and the up back one, you just have to hold back, but for the up forward one, you do have to do, back forward forward. If you want to be fancy, for whatever reason. Alright, so that's flip kick. Other good moves he's got is, he's got his construct kick, his down 4-3. Down 4-3, in my opinion, is one of the most unseeable lows in the game. It's not unseeable like Lay's down 4 or Fang's down 2, but construct kick or even just down 4 by itself is 322 damage natural combo. Does put you in neutral and sets you far back, so you can use it to space yourself. But at the same time, if you want to use it when you're being aggressive on someone, you have to know that it does forcibly space you out, and that it makes it so that you cannot keep up the pressure, because it pretty much resets the game back to neutral. Pretty much. It spaces you apart, so you gotta get in again. Pretty much. It starts the game over. That's why down 4 by itself is a pretty decent poke. Even though it only does 9 damage, it's very quick, and it's only negative 11, so pretty safe. And it's pretty good tracking. Down 4-3 by itself, the whole string does not have good tracking, but down 4 by itself does. Do know if they do block down 4, the second hit is a high, so they can just duck it and then do like a wall standing 2 or something, which is potentially very bad. So you want to be careful about this. Choose your moments when you're going to use this, but just remember that it's a very, very good low in general. It's just very unseeable, but you're going to find that in higher play, people will just do the down 4 by itself because it is generally too risky to do the down 4-3, the whole thing, since, you know, it's launch punishable. Essentially, if you do the whole string. But just doing down 4 itself is a really good poke. Because, you know, very unstable. Alright, what else we got? We've got back 4. Okay, back 4, and hold back 4, is probably one of Law's best moves in this game. It used to be back 4 wasn't a homing move, but now it is. So it tracks all 180 degrees in front of Law. Really great move. On hit, it's like +7, I think. If you go into back turn, that is. And on block, it's -4 if you go into back turn. It's like -8 if you don't go into back turn. Either way, both versions of it are safe. There is the extension of back 4-3, which is a wall slide natural combo. It's also his strongest -14 frame punisher, and knocks him really far back. And it wall splats, etc. So back 4 is one of the best ways to do his back turn mix-ups. So you do back 4 on hit, do down 3, you do you know, fake out, and then fake them out, then down 4, oops. Back turn down 4. Whatever. And you can do like fake them out hop kick or flip kick rather. You could do Wolfang back 4-3, delay it, which is really good since this string is very tricky at hitting people, because usually people won't expect one hit moves from back turn Law, since, you know, it's either like down 3 or like back 2 or, you know, down 4 or maybe like hop kick, you know, etc. So back 4-3 delayed, which is super delayable, is really good. Especially it's really good against people who duck reactively, because they'll duck the second hit, but then they'll get hit by the second hit because, you know, they won't realize what will happen by the time you do it. It's -12, by the way. He also has his back 1+2, and his back turn 2 and then 2. Other things about back 4 in general, other than being a really good move to get into back turn, probably his best move to get into back turn, other than 2-2 and down back 2, back 4 is probably the best transition. It tracks all ways. Now, one of Law's weaknesses in previous incarnations, and this incarnation even, of Tekken, is Law has trouble tracking. So back 4 pretty much completely fixed that. Back 4 is a quick move that is homing, tracks all ways, puts them in back turn for free. So you say you're pressuring someone, and it used to be, at least I thought so, that you could just start stepping Law when he starts pressuring you because his tracking was very weak to his right side. But now that you have back 4, you can't do that. So it's pretty much very good at keeping you in one spot, preventing you from stepping and forcing you to eat the mix-ups. You can even do slide, sway away, and slide, or like down 3, and slide, or down 3 while saying 2, and then DSS 2, whatever, you know. Back 4 really good for setups. You just have to be careful about using back 4-3 by itself, in neutral and not as a punisher. Because the second it is high and it is kind of slow, you can react to this and duck under the second hit and then get launch punished from while standing. So you do have to be careful about using the second hit, but the first hit by itself is completely safe and definitely beneficial. You can do back 4 and then do another back 4 into back turn, because most people will expect back 4 to go into back turn, so if you just do back 4 then not back turn, they'll be expecting something, and then you're like facing forward, and they're like, what the heck, and then you do another back 4, and then it's the real back 4 to back turn, and then you do your mix-ups, you know, etc. It does have a long whiff animation though, so you do have to be careful. It is kind of short-ranged a little bit, so you do have to be in their face, so just don't do it too much. I mean, don't do it too much when you're far away. But even if Law cannot get in range for back 4, that doesn't mean that he can't homing move hit you from far away. This is where back 3 comes in. Back 3 is like a super back 4. It does way more damage. It's a bit slower. I think it comes at 17 frames. I'm not exactly sure. It's safe. I think the regular version, the back 2 version is -11, but the knockback on this move is ginormous. Let me show that. As you can see, there's no way that you're pretty much going to punish this, especially it's only -11/10, I believe. So back 3, homing completely, huge damage, really great footsie tool since it goes really far. It's probably one of Law's farthest attacks. See, from all the way back there, it still even hits. Really good when you're getting close to someone and you're both kind of afraid to press buttons. Back 3, very, very safe option to hit because not only does it home, it's mid, so it'll hit crouchers. It has far-ass range, does a lot of damage and knocks down. Back 3 is just an amazing move in general. It does have kind of like a high hitbox for a mid move, so like, you know, people like Capo or Xiao Yu or Lei, they can duck under it a little bit if they do their respective stances. But in general, back 3 just a really good move. And another, even more about back 3, is the startup animation looks slightly similar to down back 3. Because down back 3 he pulls his leg in, and back 3 he does the same thing with pulling his leg in, back 3 does kind of look like down back 3. Especially since they both use the same kind of leg, they both use the left leg. And it wall splats for a lot of damage. Well, off axis from the wall. Etc. So back 3, just really good. You can go into back turn from this. There's kind of no point to it because if you hit them, they're gonna be knocked down, and if you didn't hit them, you're gonna be in back turn, so you can't. I mean, they're gonna be knocked back far because of the knockback stun of this move, the pushback. So there's no really reason to go in the back turn. You can use it to sway away in case you want to be space yourself out. So and you can even use this to tag out. So something like that. So back 3, very, very solid move in general. Definitely want to put this into your gameplay. Really great move. A bit slow though, so you have to be careful about using it freely because it is slow. You may get counter hit by certain things. But that's back 3 for you. Next on Law's list is Slide, which is done by full crouch, down forward, down forward, hold 3. Oops. There you go. Both ways, and it guarantees a get up 3. That's guaranteed. There's no block on this move ever. I don't even think you can, you cannot attack crash that move either. The hit stun is way too long. So Slide, pretty much one of Law's only mix-up tools because his full crouch game is really good because of Slide. It's potentially a 40 damage low. The low itself is 40, plus the down 3 it's 9, so you get pretty much like 38, like 40 damage. So it's really good, and even if you hit here, you can go into like a mix-up. Then you could roll back, and then do a down 4. So that's really good. You don't have to do a down 3. So what slide is really good because it's a crouch dash sort of thing, and then you can, you know, mix this in with the wall standing 2, which is another one of his top 10 moves in my opinion. Or you do a wall standing 1, wall standing 4, wall standing 1, 2, etc. Slide is pretty much the bread and butter for his full crouch mix-up. And because slide goes so far, it pretty much ignores the fact that you're far away, so it ignores it pretty much ignores footsies. The move has decent tracking, although it can be sidewalked, and it doesn't track all the way, but it will hit some people who do a slight sidestep. You have to be careful of using it though. Certain characters have a really great float combo. I know that Yoshimitsu doesn't really have a great one, but characters like Law himself has a really good one, and Lei has a really easy one. I do believe like characters like Asuka also has a really good one, and Bob has a good one too. So you should be careful about using slide against those kind of characters, especially someone, you know, who can really hurt it really bad. And don't whiff it either, because if you whiff it, you're like at their mercy. You're like in their face down, you just put yourself into a knockdown position. So be careful. And when you're far away and you do full crouch, you better do that slide super fast, because there's no mix-up here, because all the other options will whiff. It's the only option that'll connect with slide, so it seems obvious that you are gonna do slide. The other mix for this is to do running 3, but that's a bit harder to do. And it's not, you know, completely a mix-up, because there is enough time to see him get up to do a running 3. So that's slide for you, really good. Probably one of his best lows. Other moves we got his wall standing 2, dragon uppercut, like I talked about. So wall standing 2, really good. Far-reaching was 15 frame Punisher from wall standing, and in neutral it does have some uses. I think it's really good at punishing electrics, and by that I mean, you know, duck preemptively against an electric or something, and then do wall standing 2. Even at whiff, this does have really good range, so you can hit him either way. 24 damage, taggable. Oops. Ooh, that's a bit strange. A lot of damage. Basic combo of that is like all his other combos, like this. Well, that's for the tag assault. 1 to 3. Okay, so yeah, that's pretty much it for you. Wall standing 2 is really good. I didn't really talk about why. It's because pretty much it has like this phantom range, and it's part of his you know, like his slide mix-up. So it's like you can use it to punish things. Actually, just neutral. Just do like instant full crouch while standing 2. So it'll come out like 16 frames. To whiff punish things. It's just that you have to pretty much be ready to whiff punish things. It is very slow, and you do have to go into full crouch for it. So it's not. You have to be ready to whiff punish with this move, but it is really good for whiff punishing. But they do have to be kind of close, since it's not as far as back 2 or back 3, etc. Oh, and I didn't talk about back 2. Back 2 is actually one of his best whiff punishers. It is his whiff punisher, pretty much. Back 2. Back 2 is Law's whiff punisher. Okay. So that's wall standing 2 for you. Now we got... Let's see, what else we have here. Oh yeah. Okay, so we've got his... Okay, another one of his top 10 moves in my opinion is his Shaolin Spin Kicks. This move is his 11 frame Punisher. It is probably one of the best moves to DSS out of, because even on block, if you do a perfect DSS, you're at least +7. So very safe move. The problem with the change in Tekken Tag 2 was that the second hit of this and the third hit as well, if you do all the kicks, are duckable. But it's considering it's an 11 frame move, it's very fast. It is very difficult to duck this move. It's doable, but you know it requires some pretty sharp reflexes. So you know you can throw it out when they're least expecting it. Really good 11 frame Punisher, because a lot of characters feel like they're safe if using a -11 moves because, oh, you know, it's just a jab punish, nothing really crazy. Well, Law can punish that for 34 plus a DSS mix-up. So, you know, really good. And then from here, you can go into DSS mix-ups, like you can do throw. You know, do one. You know, do Dragon Hammer in case they're gonna press buttons. Do a Hook Punch in case they're gonna press buttons still. Do a 4 for a free low poke. Do 3+4 if they're gonna go if they're gonna duck, etc. You know, 4-3 just really good in general for applying pressure and poking. And do 4-2 out of it, which is 0 on block. You could go into other mix-ups like common setup I has do this and then down 4-3. You know, that's very fast. I mean, it's all blockable, but it's very fast and it's hard to react to in time. So it's part of Law's pressure and poke game. It does have a long whiff animation, as you can see. I mean, by itself, without DSSing, it is -14. So Lost 4-4 3+4 is one of the best throws in the game because it starts a combo, much like Marduk's 1+2 throw and Obsta's 1+2 throw, Bob 1+2 throw. You know, this kind of move is very generous to have to give to a character to give them a throw that starts a combo, because as most people know, throws are hard to break unless you've had experience with them for a long time.
people, if they try to press any kind of button at all, pretty much because Wall 74 is 11 frame move, they'll counter hit at 10 frames. I mean, at 11 frames. I mean 10 frames because it's +1, and they'll die. Die because it's Wall 74 3, one of the law's strongest launchers. Yeah, see, that's what you get if you press buttons after forward levels 2. Also, his bound move at the wall. So, very good move in general. Just don't, they don't want to. For any kind of mix-up you want to do, get them to stop pressing buttons. You can do forward levels 2. And if they don't know about it, you can do wall standing 4-3 for days.